I actually have my reservations about this appointment. But I let you say what you think.
Yeah, maybe Sean Dyche is the new Sam Allardyce. The survival manager, right?
That wasn't red, that was yellow. Welcome to the Football Kaki. I am your host, Mr. Eldet Leong, and I am joined by my fellow Kaki bro, Paul E. Paul, how are you doing?
How are you, bro?
I'm
Tired
good.
after a long Chinese New Year.
Yeah, bro. Like back to work. After a very long break. The momentum haven't kicked in yet. Yeah.
The engine haven't
The
started.
engine haven't started yet. The engine started. It's like you in F1, right? You on neutral going to first gear. Have you even first gear yet?
Yeah.
Wow.
But F1 different, bro. F1 can 0 to 100 in 2 seconds.
Cannot lah. I cannot. I
We
0 to 10.
2 days also haven't even
Zero to 10 haven't even settled within like what? Within like what? A few days. Even plus a weekend to rest also lah. Wow. But okay, like for our side, I think as United fans, we are quite happy, judging by the fact that we are 3-0 up on aggregate in the League Cup against Nottingham Forest, right? And we have progressed into the FA Cup 5th round, am I correct?
Yeah, bro.
5th round.
Right.
5th round. But enough about Man United today. Today we actually have two things that we want to unpack. Predominantly, one is that, of course, we want to cover the big game that happened over the weekend for the FA Cup 4th round, which is the Man City versus Arsenal at the Etihad. Of course, that one to many will be a preview of the upcoming EPL clash in 2 weeks' time on the 16th of February. But however, there are a few things that we do want to point out as we discuss the match. So that is the first thing that we want to discuss. The next thing also we want to do is basically Everton, the sacking of Frank Lampard and the upcoming appointment of one Sean Dyche, and how do we think that this will actually affect Everton down the road? Because losing Everton from the Premier League, right, is like losing a stalwart of the EPL.
Yeah, it's like it won't be EPL without
It's like
Everton.
yeah, correct,
right?
correct. It's like without the blue side of Merseyside, it's not the EP. It's not doesn't feel like the EPL that all of us grew up loving and watching. It's like for every county you have a fall to the big team. So for example, it will be Liverpool's fall is Man City. No, Liverpool's fall is Everton. Man United's fall was Man City for a prolonged period of time, but now it seems to have swapped. Hopefully, it will go back to the red half of Manchester and the noisy neighbours. And then, of course, you've got Arsenal and Spurs. So you lose Everton, it's like
you lose a rival.
And you lose a big derby game.
Liverpool fans will be happy. You get what I mean?
Correct. But the thing is that if you're a Liverpool fan, right, you don't have another club to rub in their face and say, hey, bro, I beat you. Like
why not? I think if they were relegated, I think it'd be quite interesting.
Yeah, we shall see. But more on that later on. So, first of all, before we get into everything, we just want to thank all our listeners for listening in to the Football Kaki. If you've been with us from the start, thank you. If you're a new listener, we also just want to say thank you. And also for just giving us a try, giving us a listen to just a bunch of boys who love talking about this beautiful game of football. So right now, let's get into it. All right, so now the big game of the weekend was Man City versus Arsenal in the FA Cup 4th round, with City taking the victory through a Nathan Ake goal. 1-0 was the final score. Paul, what were your thoughts on the match?
I mean, like, I'm quite surprised, right? Like, even both Arsenal and Man City will play a rotation team, you know? I mean, like, end of the day, it's still a FA Cup.
Yeah.
It's still a cup, right? And it's not like it's a Carabao Cup or Mickey Mouse Cup.
Yep.
So they played like what Ortega, Turner. Ortega was from Man City side.
Yep,
then the Arsenal side was the Turner, right?
Yeah.
So both American goalkeepers. I mean, okay, like it's also a good chance for them to rotate the squad. Yeah, but they kept the core of the team, both sides lah, like still on. Like they both sides played maybe 5 or 6 first team players.
Correct, but
like Man City play Haaland, Grealish.
Yeah, so but I was looking at it on like the lineups. City's lineup looks stronger than the Arsenal lineup to me, at least.
Because Man City's depth is so strong. Yeah, you can't like forget that. They can interchange Grealish, Foden. Yeah.
That's true. That's true. I think for me, overall, the match as a whole, I found it fairly even at points. But the thing is that the Arsenal defense was very suspect. Like like there were a few
Yeah.
moments where you could see Holding just like randomly just like miskick a bouncing ball. Then he won't track back. He would just like look at somewhere else and push. Then Tierney had a very bad clearance that could have led to another goal also from Haaland. So it's more to me. I find that Arsenal needs that first 11 healthy to be able to push through the rest of the season against Man City lah. Just by judging on based on this FA Cup tie. But I want to ask you this question, right? Um, is this really an indication of the upcoming clash of what people are likely going to see, or is it just more like oh it's a separate game where they played some of their second stringers?
Yeah, that's a very good point actually. Because up till now, like February, like end of January slash February, right, they
Yeah,
haven't even played each other a single time
yeah,
yet.
correct.
That's quite insane actually,
Yep,
to be honest. So all this ever since the season started, we have no indication of how Arsenal and City gonna like face each other.
yeah,
So yeah, but I also feel that if Arsenal had played City earlier in the season,
yep.
they would have lost at least one game.
I do agree.
Yeah, because that was the run where Haaland had like the 2 goals per game, hat trick, non-stop, right?
Yep,
And Arsenal was still trying to believe because now from now where they are now and where they were at the start of the season, right?
yep.
They definitely don't expect themselves to be in the position that they are now, ma.
Definitely not.
So definitely now the belief and hunger is stronger than it
Yep,
was 3 months ago. Yeah,
correct.
but I to answer your question, I feel that this FA Cup game is not a very clear, accurate depiction of how it will be like in the league lah, because the circumstances are different. The
Yep.
situation is different as well.
Yes.
Yeah. And I feel that maybe this is just a test run for both managers.
Yeah.
Because both managers are very tactical, right?
Yep.
Imagine if they play how they want to play in 2 weeks' time. Then you give your other manager upper hand, right? To
Correct.
know what you're already gonna do.
Correct.
Yeah. So both Spanish managers trying to I think it's in a way it's a little bit of a mind game.
I think it definitely is because must remember that Guardiola taught Arteta almost everything he knows, but that doesn't mean that Guardiola gave him everything that Guardiola knows.
Yes.
So there are certain tricks up Guardiola's sleeve that I think he probably has prepared for Arsenal. Because I also do think that not only does the weight of this game right also not have an effect in terms of the FA Cup lah. Because to be really frank, the FA Cup is not as how to say like
It's not as important as the league, definitely.
yes, and it doesn't have the same luster that clubs used to focus on in the 90s or the early 2000s where it's like no matter what FA Cup game you play your best team, try to give it all you got right just to try to get to the FA Cup final because that's the prestige of having the FA Cup. But then now, because of the standard of football that is in England, right, people don't mind putting the FA Cup on the back burner, right, and then try to focus on the league and the Champions League
Yeah.
because they know that they have squads capable of doing that. So the question then becomes also, right, is the experience in the title race, right, that Man City have, will it be a relevant factor going down the line? Because yes, they have a points advantage now, right? But as United fans, we know from 2010, was it 2010, 2011?
2011.
2011, 12, 11, 12, right?
11, 12,
Yeah,
yes.
2011, 2012, 8-point lead can disappear very quickly.
In the space of 2 weeks.
In the space of 2 weeks. So,
I totally agree.
yeah, so the question becomes, right, will the title chase or the title hunt experience that City have, right, play a huge factor going down the road?
Yes. If you actually think about it, right, if you actually remember the year Liverpool had 100, no, Man City had 100 points.
Yeah.
I think Liverpool had 97 points. Can you imagine 97 points and you don't even win the league?
Yeah.
Ouch, right? Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if it's 97 or 96. I remember it was around there. Yeah. And like what you said, yes, because Guardiola knows how to reach the top of the EPL. He knows how to reach the pinnacle. So at this stage, he feels that okay, it's still catchable.
Yep.
In a sense, right? Yeah, it's still like you can catch them. Whereas Arteta is trying to reach the top for the first time.
Correct.
With this Arsenal team that has not won the league in how many years? 20 years?
Side note, bro. Correction, right? When City had 100 points, right, we were second. We had 81.
Oh, then which was the year that? Okay, there was Liverpool, Man City won the league with 99, if I'm not wrong.
Man City won the league with 98. Liverpool had 97. That was the
Oh,
2018-2019.
yeah. So even that okay, like it makes it even worse because
Yeah,
it was so close, Yeah, yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that the Arteta is trying to reach the pinnacle, right? With
yep,
this Arsenal team that has not won a league in 20 years,
correct,
20 odd years, right? Yeah.
correct.
But on the other hand, he's been the assistant manager to Pep in all the years that Pep won the
The
title.
correct.
So in a way, maybe he roughly knows 50% of, right, 50 to 60% of how a dressing room should be like. A title winning dressing room should be
Yep.
like. Yep.
But I
That's why
think
you see the what's that Amazon Prime, all this, you
yeah,
see is so focused on the locker room like mentality and all that. Yeah.
correct, correct. But you must understand, right? Like for me, what I see is that Arsenal players are still young. They've never been in a title fight or a title race before. It's very similar to how like when Liverpool they were trying to win the title. I think it was the which one
That year 97, the 98 point one, right?
I can't remember which one but it was referring back to like Man United in the olden time, right, when it was like United were fighting them. I think it was 0809. Yeah, 0809. That one under I think under Rafa
Oh, the
Benitez.
Fernando Torres time.
The Fernando Torres time, right? So you could see that in the later part of the season, right, the experience in the title hunt played out. And you could see like United experience in the title hunt because they've been doing it for the years prior to 0809 already, ma. And they were the defending champions from 0708 and 0607. So it's those are situations, especially now, which is why if you really looked at it in the past few years, City and Liverpool have been going at it for about 4 years, 5 years, I would say.
More than that.
Three to
I
four
think
4 years,
since
5 years.
2017, at
Yeah,
least six,
correct.
7 years. Yeah.
Correct. So if you actually count that, last year City won. 2021 City won.
2020 Liverpool won.
2020 Liverpool won. 2019 City, 2018 2019 City won.
Yeah,
17 18
basically
City
City won
won.
every year. Yeah,
City,
every
so
year ever since 2016.
correct.
Yes.
So the thing is that when you're winning that much, it's like you are drilled to know exactly what's going to happen. And your standard of
At
football is
certain points at the stage. Yeah, right.
correct. And the standard of football is so high that if you're inexperienced, right, and you're unable to keep that composure, right, keep your head, and focus and dive down and just really like grind out the results, it's a totally different type of mental capability. And you must remember that the core of this Man City squad, a majority of them are still there. Like
Yeah.
quite a bit, quite a
De
number. So
Bruyne. Yeah, I agree. And they have Haaland.
correct. And they got Haaland. So you're talking like what? De Bruyne, Gundogan, Bernardo
Silva.
Silva, Edison,
Ruben Diaz.
Ruben Diaz. But Ruben Diaz only recent
Laporte.
only lah. Laporte.
Yeah, but he came in, he won the title last
Yeah
year.
lah, that's true lah. Then Laporte.
Yeah, but the whole core of it. Yeah,
Laporte.
I get your point. Yeah.
So that core of it, it's those guys are there already, ma. But then Arsenal is a totally new group. So it's more like how are they going to react or how are they going to handle that pressure going forward lah. So I think yeah, this game I think you probably agree with me is that this is not really a preview of the 16th of Feb lah, or the upcoming clash.
It's just a glimpse.
It's just a glimpse only.
It's just like a trailer. See how both managers react after this.
Correct. So I hope that it will be a good game because if Arsenal win, I would more or less say that they are Champions League already. They are Champions League because they do have a game in hand. It's currently a 5-point gap. They beat City, it's 8. They win another one, it's 11.
Wait, so it's 5 with 1 game in hand now.
5 with 1 game in hand.
So it will be 8 if it's equal games lah. If they win the game in hand.
If they win the game, okay, let's say for example, for me 5, then you play the extra game, it's +3 ma.
So it's 8 with even games lah.
8 with even games, right? Then if they beat Man City, it's 11.
Yeah.
So if they do that, they can afford to lose at least 2. So
11 is harder to catch than 8.
yeah, 11 is harder to catch than 8. So you can afford to lose 2 or lose 2,
Okay,
right?
so example, if it was 8 before they play them,
Yeah.
because they need to play them twice.
Yes.
So there's a chance they can. Worst case scenario is Arsenal lose both and they will still be 2 points.
Correct.
Yeah, but that's assuming if Man City also win the rest of the games lah.
Yeah, that's assuming.
And Arsenal also win, don't falter any other places. You know?
Correct. But if I'm not wrong, it's the second best defensive record in the league after Newcastle.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, do you know which is the best?
Yeah, Newcastle.
Newcastle elite. Yep.
Newcastle. And
So let's see. I do feel that Pep is not dumb lah.
he's not lah.
Pep knows how to win certain
Correct.
games.
If there's any manager I think can deconstruct this Arsenal team is Pep.
We almost did it. We did it once. Actually.
We did it once.
Yeah, we did it once. We almost did it again.
All right. The next topic is Everton. As many of you know, in the recent weeks or recent week, more to say, Frank Lampard has officially been sacked as the manager of Everton, and his pending replacement. I'm not sure whether it's confirmed at the point where you're watching this video, right? But his pending replacement is, of course, former Burnley manager Mr. Sean Dyche. Now, right, as we mentioned earlier in the introduction, right, Everton not being part of the Premier League just feels like one of your stalwarts or one of your cornerstones of the Premier League is just not there anymore, and it doesn't feel like the Premier League is going to be the same. So, for this segment, we just wanted to talk about Everton itself and basically what do they need to do in order for them to survive relegation. They've already changed the manager, and we are going to talk about basically what are things that they actually need to correct and what were actually the problems that they were actually facing prior to Lampard sacking, and which put them in the position that they actually are now. So, Paul, before we get into anything, right, I just want to ask this question. Is Frank Lampard a bad manager?
I don't think he's a bad manager, but I don't feel he's a fantastic one also, if that makes sense.
I get what you mean. But
like, okay, because maybe I believe he's a sub-tier manager,
Yep.
maybe.
Okay, so
But unproven, very unproven. Yes.
Okay, but what do you mean by sub-tier?
Like, okay, can he survive in the Premier League one full season? Actually, technically we have not seen him last a full season, right?
Yeah lah. I mean, his first season with Chelsea, was it halfway through?
Yeah, he got sacked. What?
No lah. He did one. Didn't he do one like?
He did like a half maybe.
He did a half, right?
Yeah,
he did a half
half
right?
of the previous and then half of the new season. You
know? Yeah. Okay. The sub-tier is okay. Sub-tier, right? Then I got this question, right? Is it in the Ole category?
Okay, so the difference between Lampard and Ole, right, is that Ole had very good owners to back him up.
Is that sarcasm or is that actual fact?
No, it's true. As in, like, the Man U refused to sack him for 3 years, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, they let him, not say they refused to sack him.
Yep.
They let him stay on for 3 years.
Yep.
Even though some of the results were bad, I feel. Lampard was like 6 months in, you're out there.
I mean,
they don't even care whether you're a club legend or not.
Correct. But
they didn't even care whether he was a club legend, yeah.
Correct, bro. But okay, but the reason why I actually bring this up, right, is because I was actually looking at Lampard's stats as Everton manager.
It's horrible.
It's really very bad, right? And like the percentages I just hear this out. He's managed a total of what, if I'm not wrong, 44 games as Everton manager, including the back half of last season. He has won 12, drew 8, and get this, lost 24. You're losing half of the amount of games that you are managing. That's very bad for a top flight manager, you know.
Maybe the fit for the Everton team also is not there, you know. I mean, like, if you compare him to Ole had a world-class squad there.
Correct.
And he had so much money to spend. Lampard, when he was in Chelsea, right?
Yep.
He was the one that bought Havertz, right?
Was he the one?
He played Mason Mount played very very well under him.
Yep.
And then he had Rudiger and all. But Chelsea is the position at Chelsea is a very shaky job.
Yeah. But to me, right?
Okay, but okay.
But
Ultimately, I don't think he's a good manager.
correct. But the thing is that you must understand, the reason why I bring this up, right, is literally because you put the Chelsea thing aside. Because that Chelsea squad, no matter what, is still a good squad. To me, that the players that Lampard has managed are actually still at Chelsea now. So they are still doing okay under Graham Potter. They were fine under Tuchel lah. But the thing is that if you're really looking at this Everton squad, like defenders, you got what? Tarkowski, Keane, Mina, Seamus Coleman. Then midfielders, you got what? The Corey, Tom Davis, Idrissa Ganage, Onana. Striker, you got Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Townsend, and like the Murray Gray, right? You shouldn't be at where you are now, what?
Yeah. They are definitely underperforming.
Correct. You should this.
But they just lost Richarlison last year, so.
I mean, if you lose Richarlison, right, you still got you still got Calvert-Lewin. Right?
Yeah, but he also has injury problems.
Yeah, that's true. But if you really think about it, it's you should be a lot higher than where you actually are. Like, there's no way they are what? They should be at 18 squad. They should be at least probably hovering about maybe 8 to 12 in the mid table. In the mid table, right? And it's like
I agree. Yeah, it's like, because they should be maybe, I won't say top 10, but maybe 11-ish, 12.
Correct. And if I'm not wrong, right, they have a lot of trouble scoring also.
Yeah, and you can't say these players are not good because I mean, like maybe more than half of this squad, right? They actually play under Ancelotti.
Correct.
And Ancelotti was like, at one point he was, I think, top 4.
Correct. So it's like with the resources that you're given, right? They shouldn't be where they are now. It doesn't make sense to me at all, like whatsoever. So the thing now is that we've already concluded that Frank Lampard may not be the best manager ever. But I do think that as a manager, right, losing more than half your games with this squad is unacceptable. You deserve a sack.
Yeah,
like there's no question about it, right?
This year, now the EPL is 20 games, right? They lost 11. They won 3 only, bro.
Yeah, precisely.
And they were like 5. They were on like a 4 or 5 game losing streak in the league.
Yeah, dude.
That's insane.
Yeah, bro. And like in total, right? This season alone, in all competitions, they play in the FA Cup, League Cup, and Premier League. Frank Lampard has got Everton knocked out of the FA Cup and the League Cup. So you imagine, right? You play 23 games. 23. You lose 13. You draw 6, you win 4. You deserve the sack. I mean, there's no way that anybody, right, can defend that.
Yeah. That's why he's gone. He's gone.
That's why he's gone. But now, going over to the new thing, like with the pending appointment of Sean Dyche, do you think it will have any significant difference also? Because I actually have my reservations about this appointment. But I let you say what you think.
Yeah, maybe Sean Dyche is the new Sam Allardyce. The survival manager, right? Like any team in the relegation zone, they will just appoint Big Sam.
Yeah lah.
But now it's Sean Dyche. Right?
Sean Dyche.
But what I've like what you said, you have the reservations about Sean Dyche, right? I got a bit of like question mark with him. But okay, so what he actually proven that he can survive in the EPL with a Burnley team.
Yeah.
And their way of playing was very, very similar to about, the 2010 West Brom.
Yeah.
The very, very conservative way of just 0-0. We would take a 0-0. We would just try to score a corner.
Correct.
Yeah. So, I also felt that he overachieved with the Burnley team.
Yep.
Yeah. So, that might be a bit different. But, like you said, Sean Dyche and Tarkowski now back reunited. So
I wanted to say
maybe he can help them to claw out of the relegation zone. Because to be honest, right, from 14th to 20th place is only 3 points.
Yeah, it's a small.
So
game.
It's like any team that slip up, they will just find themselves in the relegation zone anytime. Yeah,
correct. So it's those type of things where like old managers reunite with old players is one thing. But okay, for me, my reservations about Sean Dyche is that he's known to actually have like Burnley being stay up in the top flight for around five consecutive seasons lah. But if you really look at it statistically, he has lost 20 matches in a season twice. 20 matches
But he still stay in the.
but he still stay in the Premier League. So 20 matches in a season is a lot. Considering the fact it's actually just slightly over half only, 50%. So losing 20 matches is a lot. So that one is you gloss over it, right? But he has finished in the top 10 twice. So the thing is that Sean Dyche has the capability, right, with the adequate amount of players, right, to be able to go up in the table or be able to do what he has on the lower half lah. But generally in his 5 seasons, he has finished twice in the top 10, but the times that they finished outside the top 10 it's been 15 or lower. So he's always in the bottom quarter, on the last quarter of the table lah.
Yeah.
Last quarter table. So for Everton, maybe it might make sense because he is an available manager lah. Not saying that he's not good or anything like that, but he will definitely keep the team organized. But I do think that right now with the Everton's attack state, reducing the amount of goals conceded, right, and nicking maybe 1 or 2 might actually work for them in the periodically long
Just
period.
take whatever points they can get.
Correct. So it's just take whatever points you can get lah. So if they can just like maybe get a 1-0, a couple of 1-0 victories, or maybe a 2-1 or like even draw 0-0, right? It actually plays to their advantage. Right? So maybe going conservative might actually be beneficial to Everton itself lah. What do you think?
But do you feel, right, that so it was Ancelotti, then Lampard, right?
Yeah.
Oh, was it Ancelotti then that Ferguson guy? I think it was, yeah. But like as a temporary manager.
Yep.
Then Lampard. Then after Lampard, now Sean Dyche. So do you feel it's like a
demotion?
Yeah, it's like Everton has like considered that, okay, we are not where we were last time.
Yeah.
So is this how we're going to be moving forward? Because in terms of available managers, you have so many that's available.
Yeah.
You have Pochettino, you have Tuchel, right? You have so many. Like, why would you want to just take this Sean Dyche,
That's actually a very good point. Like,
okay, but also maybe like Tuchel or Pochettino, why would you want to come to a relegation team and risk your reputation?
Okay, but the thing is, right, that aside, right, that is actually a factual obligation, right? But the thing is that you also cannot say that your ownership won't back you. Because Everton has spent.
Yeah, they have spent. They have money from the Richarlison sale.
Correct. So they actually have spent money on players to be able to come into Everton. And you buy like what? Like defenders like Connor Cody. I mean, Connor Cody is
Tarkowski. I mean, they're both were free lah.
They both are free, right? But the thing is that they're not like
what you need.
I mean, they're not really saying not what you need, right? But they're not bad.
Like, it's like
they're decent.
They
players,
should have replaced Richarlison.
Yes, I think.
You have the money from Richarlison, then you go and get a replacement to play alongside Kevin Lewin.
They should have gotten a striker. I think.
Yeah. Now they sold Anthony Gordon. Yeah. So they have to replace a winger.
Yeah, I mean, wow, there's so many things we're gonna do, right? So I do think, right, like,
do you think they will stay in the Premier League?
Okay, I'm gonna go on the positive side. I think yes, but I don't think it will be by much. I think probably
you don't think it'll be easy,
and I don't think it'll be easy. I think probably you're looking at 16 or 17 place,
but still stay inside.
I as a football fan and as a Premier League follower for a very long time, right? Like, I feel I really don't want to lose Everton in the Premier League. It just doesn't feel the same lah. Like,
yeah, far from denying us the EPL title to being relegated.
Yeah, bro. And
karma.
And the thing is that for the two of us, we got a lot of like bad memories regarding Everton.
Goodison Park, bro.
Goodison Park.
So many. Even at Old Trafford, right?
Even at Old Trafford, the game that literally I think cost us the league title that year. And like there's so many things, right? Like, but you still don't want to have a team with that much history, right? Lose lah. or
Yeah,
like
it's
get
because
relegated.
like as a football fan, I want the league to be as competitive as possible.
Yeah,
So that like fans can watch like
correct,
exciting games every week.
correct.
So to see the state of like Everton becoming a relegation team, right? It's like very how to say I like not say frustrating, but like a bit disappointing lah to see how far they have fallen off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is it's sad lah. I
yep.
really hope that they don't get relegated, but um, let's just hope that Sean Dyche can can do what it needs to survive. I think for Everton, right, it's simple. They just need to shore up their defense. They just need to shore up the defending, right, and then maybe just nick one or two goals here and there. Right? Then I think they'll be able to survive, lah. That's their method to survival already to me, lah. Tighten up the defending, get keep as
Just don't
much
concede as little as
yeah,
possible. Right?
concede as
Yeah,
little as possible, right? Get any clean sheet you can, any clean sheet you can, any point you can. Even if it's a 0-0 draw, right? Just take
take
it.
it. Yeah,
Just take it. Like, to me, like, that's I think what they need to do. Lah. So yeah, for those of you watching, right, uh and any diehard Everton fans I really hope your your team stays in the EPL. It'll be a sad day to see them go down. All right. And thanks everyone for listening in. There is another conclusion to the episode of the football Kaki. Before we go off, Paul, do you have anything you want to say to our fans?
yes, I felt that we did not enjoy EPL football during the Chinese New Year break. Right.
Eh,
Like the past weekend felt so off, like when there was nothing to look forward to. Usually I'll wake up like on like Saturday morning, right? Or Friday
yeah,
night. I'll be like, okay, tomorrow at least got there's this match to look forward to.
yeah,
I mean not that not to discount the FA Cup or whatever, lah, but the league just provides a different feeling to everyone.
yeah. That's true. That's true. But
Yeah.
I mean, we are glad that football is getting into the flow, and of course, Champions League is coming up soon. So before we head off, just let you know that we'll be also doing upcoming transfer market roundup, winter transfer market roundup, the January transfer window. Do keep an eye out for that, and of course, we do have our other shows going on, which is the Kopi Bros coming out every Monday, and of course our main game show, the SG Draft Podcast, every Friday. Do join us next Wednesday for on the Football Kaki for our upcoming episode, and for all those of you who are listening in, thank you once again for tuning in today, and don't forget to run the Kaki.